you come out of their room, then you could from the stairs directly to the right. That was the girls' bathroom on that floor.
Oh yeah.
But the other two bedrooms were this size on that floor.
Oh yeah.
So it was a big house, but it was a spacious house. It was only like a 4-bedroom house with an office and a sunroom.
Okay.
3 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bedroom in the basement, and an extra living room, and like 2, I think like a living room and a game area. It was a whole living room. And that was about it. And the game area where they had the pool table was this size. But it was like I said, it was big, but it wasn't big. It was just spacious.
Right.
So, like those are the kind of houses you can find there, and you can find them for like $240 something.
Right. Hi guys, sorry for being late. I'm at like what? About I was supposed to start at what?
4:30.
4:30, and it's about almost practically an hour late. So.
Sorry, yeah, we had to run some errands. I even told them we probably wouldn't be back in time, so.
That's on me.
Apologize. We do apologize on that, guys.
I just got.
It was also kind of my fault too because I kind of was making him fall a little behind.
Yeah. So that's it's no one's fault. It's on me. Do apologize. Yeah, I'm gonna put this. Pass me my phone case.
Hold on, mister.
Yeah, I was about to pull it out. I can't wait to get more space in the house.
You need to get a house.
Get a house, yeah. Get a house instead of this place. All right.
I'm gonna move the kitty.
I have to move the kitty, or the kitty's gonna take up my entire spot. Or
Nova, baby.
I swear my cat.
I just hit a light and can move to your cat. She went not today. And baby, I think the reason why this felt tight on your phone.
It's not the right phone, but it works for my phone for some damn reason.
No, honey. It's because you were so used to having a loose case.
Oh no! In the beginning, when I first had the phone case I originally had. Awesome! You guys can see me now. All right. So sorry, apologies for not posting a video for a bit. I've been crazy busy with other things in life, and I'm sorry for that. During the video, I will be fixing turtle tank. Yeah. So during the video, I will be fixing the turtle tank and talking about Ruby. Which I'm hoping she's in there. We've had a couple of escape attempts. I think, yeah, I see her.
Twice in one day.
Twice in one day.
It's literally today. That's the inner part. You could leave this part out and put that on, which could make it fit better. No. So then, no, Alec, this is the right size case for your phone.
I've been needing to get a new phone case for a while, guys. So we'll talk about reptiles in a bit. We're doing some major renovations to my phone right now. That has been much needed. It's a little wiggle room, but that's okay.
Hey, as long as your phone's protected, your phone's protected.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I can tap the screen. It's not gonna come out.
Of course.
Literally. Get off.
I thought your phone was a 22.
No, it's a
20?
S20. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't the 22 still work?
Dude.
Because I thought they were the same build model.
Nope. Believe it or not, there's like a major size difference between both of them.
It depends on which, because there are two types of that phone that you have. There are two types of that phone for you.
Oh.
So depending on the one you have, you could have the same size as a 22.
Next time I need to get a phone case, I'll definitely do that. But right now, I'm just happy. I'm happy I have a fucking phone case. So. Oh. I do apologize for that, guys. I have been getting a bunch of different stuff for my computer for protection wise. I had to go through a major protection thing for my phone computer because I almost got hacked a while back on my computer as well. So kind of just ordering Chinese food for us. Just got back. So now today's topic is Ruby. And I'll probably pull her out here in a bit. I do need to do feedings this week, so she'll probably be a little spunky.
Nah, spunky is an understatement. You mean spicy. We call her spicy.
Yeah. I do got to clean her sister's enclosure out so I can give her the other enclosure and give the other enclosure to Zeus, because Zeus's enclosure apparently broke out of the blue one day, which I'm not too thrilled about. So that's gonna be tossed out with my old cricket tank. That's gonna be exciting. So no, all right, Ruby. So Ruby is basically what? She's a Colombian, if I remember correctly.
Yes, she's a Colombian red tail boa.
So she's a Colombian red tail boa, and we've had her for roughly about
a
few months now.
She's one of the easier ones to take care of, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about.
And I've had ball pythons.
Yeah, and the thing is too,
Like,
if you want a big snake and you want to get into the hobby,
but you want a more mellow type.
in my honest opinion, a red tail would be a good start for anyone.
Well, not any red tail. Think of Spunky. Spunky is just a normal red tail. She's a Colombian. There are different types of red tails.
I'm being owned by my own wife.
You're only being owned by the stuff you taught me.
That is
the
true.
Student surpasses the master.
Basically. So yes, in a way, Harley has a point. There's a difference between the Colombian and then a normal red tail. Mine back there, she's feisty. She is very feisty. She's
Ruby is only feisty when she's hungry.
Yeah, that's.
Other than that, she's a pretty mellow snake.
That's to be expected. I just put some isopods in her enclosure too. Like, I'll do a short later showing the isopods that I got, because I got like three kind of like they call larges, but they're not larges, but they're three large enclosure tubs and whatnot. So yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry guys. I'm tired. And we woke up at like what, 7 o'clock this morning?
Yeah.
Just to start getting stuff done, because I figured I was gonna do a video today.
Yeah.
But no, so kind of like basic care and whatnot for these guys are relatively easy. And the cooler part about them is, yes, you can do a bioactive, but what to keep in mind is what every reptile keeper will probably state is the fact that, I don't know, their bioactives are gonna be too much humidity. Snake mites are gonna be more a proactive thing. They're gonna be basically just a lot of things you gotta put in mind. Because snake bites for like, I'm sorry guys, I have to point this out. He got into the snake stuff again. Birth my kitty, damn. So no, it's just a lot of health concerns you got to keep in mind, because if you don't keep them in mind, you're gonna be really hurting for cruising for a bruising. And it's definitely gonna be one of those things of um just to keep in mind, because if you don't keep it in mind, then you're gonna probably lose, if not all, but quite a bit of your snakes, because snake bites.
They
Like-
spread like wildfire, and that's not an understatement. If
Yeah.
you don't catch it in time, you will lose, if not most, if not all of your snakes.
Yeah.
Like, we were lucky to I'm lucky to still have the snakes I have.
Yeah.
Because I practically almost lost all of my snakes.
Yeah.
And I'm still, I know I'm still mentally recovering from that, and I also told
'Cause
Alec, I don't want any more snakes for a little while just because of that.
Because we actually lost 2 of her snakes
We lost
from
we lost Rusty, which was, I'm sure all of you guys know
if you're from
who
the old.
Rusty is if you were from the original channel. Rusty was my first ever ball python.
And she was
and-
healthy and everything. That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's the thing too with snake mites. They will take the most healthiest snake. And Ruby, out of all our snakes, she was the healthiest. So just to keep that in mind. Then we lost Sapphire.
Sapphire was my other red-tailed boa, and she was the bright orange one, and that's
Bright-
part of,
red one.
she was orange. She was like an orangish reddish rust color,
And
and that's why I named her Sapphire. And
the thing about it too is, it could happen to any snake.
it can happen overnight.
It literally could be a drop of a hat if you don't pay attention. Because if one has it, they all have it. But we got lucky because originally Ruby did have them, but she wasn't in the same room when it happened.
Yeah.
So they can spread like wildfire, but if they're like separate rooms, it doesn't happen like that right away. And I'm sorry for the camera, guys. I have flies in here for some damn reason. I'm trying to take care of. Like it's kind of insane. It's just like a handful of flies, but I don't know. It drives me insane. And don't mind the tree. The tree is gonna be put somewhere else. Like I think it repot the tree and everything. So it's just a lot going on. I haven't been able to be myself. I actually haven't been able to take care of mental status and everything. That's one thing I do want to touch base on, everyone. If you're going through a tough mental crisis, take some time for yourself, guys, too.
Yeah.
Because when you're mentally not stable to take care of yourself, you can't really take care of your animals. So it is difficult. So anyways, back to Ruby. Now for feed, this is where I'm going to stress. You are going to get into the hobby. Keep this in mind, because on average, just for Ruby alone, I can actually look this up. On average, and I do everything in bulk, just because it's easier, and it's honestly better to do it this way, just because that everything is in bulk. And for feeders, just for Ruby alone, because I get her mediums.
My arm. It's so cute. The face.
And mind you, this is just one package.
Oh.
I'm gonna make sure I should cover my credit card information, because I don't need any of you to try to buy stuff off of my credit card. My phone is very slow. Oh, that's why my Wi-Fi's off. Whoops.
I'm sending that to my dad.
Okay, so this is just one package for what I get for Ruby. If you guys read that. That's just for one thing. I spend on average, I'll actually get you guys my list. And this is I'm not trying to scare anyone out of the hobby. This is just a realization that you're gonna go down this line of educating or anything like that. I actually want people to understand that this is something you don't want to be scared of because
it's a part of having this kind of reptile.
Yeah.
Or
the amount
a
of
monitor or
the
amount of reptiles you have.
Yeah. Because I kid you not, out of everything, I buy more pinkies than I buy like chicks or anything. I buy like one pack of chicks. And that's what I'll actually add.
But you also buy in bulk.
And I kid you not, everything I buy in bulk, and I make sure I have it in bulk. Okay. Okay, hold on. Before I do this, that's how much before tax. That's before tax, mind you. And I don't want to scare anyone away. But that's with all my feed. And
he's just saying if you are serious about getting into not only this hobby but working with these animals, it is not cheap. It is very, very expensive, and if you do not have the funds for it,
that's after tax.
You will not be able to take care of that animal.
That's after tax. And I do want everyone to keep in mind that what I do is I do everything out of pocket until YouTube helps me out here. And that's why I want you guys to tune in and just support me. Just don't worry about subscribing. Don't worry about. I just need people to come in and share. I don't look for people to subscribe all the time. I don't expect anyone to. And that's just my carnal list. My carnal list is roughly about $200 to $300.
He basically just wants to educate people not only on the animals, but if you are trying to get into this line of work or this kind of thing as a hobby or just having one for yourself to take care of it, he wants you to know that
it's not
all
cheap.
The steps that go into it. Like, it's not cheap, even for one.
Because, okay, let's actually go down this. So for Ruby, it's about $107 for her food, for her size. For her enclosure, I spent about $250 on her enclosure. Mm-hmm. For all her supplies, I roughly spent about, I want to say 100. No, not even 150. I want to say about 200 on all her supplies.
That's just on feed.
I'm just talking about the whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing?
Whole thing.
The whole thing almost cost us about $1,000 or so.
Yeah.
With all the supplies.
So all the supplies by itself, with the filter, the heater,
and that's just with the stuff that we already
the fogger, like everything we have in there, except for like a couple of like things that we had laying around. So we always have
extra. All bought new.
Everything for lying around. That's all bought new. The tree back here. This is a double tree. I took the tree out of this, put it in here. And that's a smaller one. And believe it or not, it took me a while to finaggle it in there. But overall, you're spending about $1,000 on almost a fully grown red-tailed boa.
Yeah.
You want to keep that in mind. For a baby,
you have to keep in mind, depending on how big that reptile gets is going to depend, and how quickly that reptile grows is going to depend on how quickly and how soon you need to upgrade their tank.
Yep.
Or their enclosure, depending on what you're doing.
Because roughly about
And it also depends on where you
I
live.
want to say about 5 feet. You want to look into upgrading your red tail. Roughly about 5 feet, and you don't have to tape measure it every single time. For Stitch, I go by my forearm. So every time he grows further on my forearm, I have to get him a new enclosure. For about almost 2 years, I had Stitch in a small 40-gallon, and he's roughly
about a year and a half.
About a year, but still a year and a half. He was about up to here, up to my middle finger.
No, he wasn't that long.
He was roughly about. He was up here, from my middle finger up to here. Not a little.
He was up to almost your wrist at that point. Before we got this enclosure, he was almost up to your wrist. I said, you are going to need a new enclosure for him.
I'm going for my middle finger then, but no. So basically, you sometimes going from your middle finger, and this doesn't always work. Don't always take my word for this. Don't take my word. I do it for all my lizards, from my middle finger to my forearm. Yeah, forearm's right here. No.
That's your forearm.
Yeah.
No. That's your forearm. Baby, my tattoo is on my forearm.
So basically, from the brick of your elbow to your middle finger. That's how I measure it. I can't name them.
That's a foot.
So basically,
from your wrist to your elbow is a foot.
Yeah. So every time your reptile goes past that, you want to look into upgrading soon, not right away, but soon. And that's by itself, depending on what you have, is depending on what you need to upgrade to. So that's going back to Ruby here. Ruby's in, I think
It was 175.
175?
I believe so. It was an old aquarium.
Yeah, so this is 175. Because I was actually to look back at my text messages for when I bought this.
At least I believe it's 175.
It was either 175.
Don't quote me on that. It's 175 or 150. Don't quote me on that though.
Yeah, it's somewhere in that ballpark. But by itself, it's not cheap.
No.
Because 175 gallon.
And that was just on the tank itself.
Yep.
With nothing in it.
Yep. And I actually do have to fix the wall
But if you purchase something like that yourself or build the enclosure yourself, building the enclosure all yourself is going to be more than buying something that's already pre-made.
Yep. And pre-made.
I also brought that point up to him because he was going to make a whole new enclosure for Ruby. I said, well, why don't we find something that's already somewhat pre-made to where we just have to worry about the background, like the backdrop, the substrate, the water, the heating, everything like that, the lighting, the plants to
and
make
if you do get into the hobby, look at Facebook Marketplace. You'll be surprised on how much.
So much stuff you can find.
The other day, I actually had this saved still. It's in my area. I want it so badly, but I don't have room for it. And you know what I'm about to pull up.
You can literally use old TV stands. You can use old entertainment centers. Like, you can use old hutches. Like, you can use so many different, like, old covers even. You can use so many different things for reptile enclosures.
The thing that I used to have before.
Ember, come here.
God damn it. Okay.
What are you doing?
The thing I used to have before me and Harley got together was an old TV stand. And it was early 90s, like those big cupboards you have. I know, but a big cupboard, and you can't even sell those anymore. Like I see a lot of people on Facebook just give them away because no one can sell them at all. Shots. I'm trying to find this.
No.
Yeah, so even stuff like this, it's a greenhouse, mind you, but stuff like that.
But that would still work.
Yeah, this stuff would actually, you could turn this into a big old vivarium for a monitor or a crock. Now, mind you, for all my Minnesotians, in Minnesota, you can own one. But if you're in Minneapolis, you better not, because that's a hefty fine. I'm not going to even go how hefty a fine that is.
But if you live anywhere though, you do need. I think you do need permits to own one.
I don't think you do. No one quote me on that. I will actually be looking at that because I do plan to have a swamp puppy, and that's what we call in this house a swamp puppy.
Because I'm adopted, and my adoptive dad is from Louisiana. So I grew up like part of my life down south in Louisiana. That's what we call them. We call them swamp puppies.
Here we go. All right. And this thing's still for sale, mind you. No one wants it, but I do.
So bad.
Like, so freaking bad. That's what I want. It's like $400.
Look at me. If you get rid of one of those rats, you would have space, right?
So you're telling me I can get this.
I at least want our favorite puppies on first.
Bigger. Done. All right. No. So basically, you're spending like for custom builds, but $1,000. But even when you do,
it's not more depending on the reptile.
Yes, and
or amphibian if that's the way you chose.
No haters here.
No.
Or
arachnids for all our spider people.
I'm not commenting on that.
Oh come on! You don't want to bring up pumpkin?
Pumpkin can stay in that room.
My red knee Mexican tarantula.
That thing can stay in that room.
But it's pumpkin.
Pumpkin can stay.
Pumpkin loves you. That's the only reason.
Bullshit! That thing came lunging at me. Yeah, I'm not definitely afraid of tarantulas or spiders.
Lies. You haven't stepped foot in that room since we got her.
I have. I just won't step near her.
You avoid her like the plague. You avoid that whole half of the room.
Okay, I'm not definitely afraid of them. I respect them from a distance. I will hold one, but I will respect it from a distance.
You'll hold one if it's given.
Yes.
Because you know if you drop it, you hit murder.
Yes. I will respect tarantulas from a distance, but if I give it a chance to, depending on what spider it is, I might hold one.
So you don't like pumpkin?
Pumpkin.
So you hold pumpkin?
I will hold pumpkin at some point.
Better hold pumpkin.
I will hold pumpkin at some point. No comment. No, nothing.
No, it's not a. You might. You will.
But no. So
I'll put her on your face while you're asleep one day.
You do that, you will lose a pumpkin. I don't mean any death on here by intentional, but pumpkin will go Habuski.
Don't Habuski pumpkin!
But anyways, back to feeding. So
one thing I like how we say Habuski.
Oh my god! All right, so back to feeding snakes. So we all know there's different ways of snakes eating. They eat constricted, neurotoxin, hemotoxin. I'll get into venoms at some point again. I'll explain more. Just not right now. Because it's literally, I had to explain even to Harley on the venom. Because it took Harley for how long to understand even neurotoxin?
Well, it didn't take me that long. I knew what they were. It's just I get the word confused, but I know what they are. I had to. I worked on the healthcare field. So no, anyways,
there
are medications that can cause that.
Boa constrictors. Well, I even should say egg eaters because with egg eaters, they're freaking cool. And
isn't Stitch an egg eater?
He's a scavenger. Okay, I'll get another time, another place for educating about savannas. So we're gonna try to stick with red tails as much as we can here. So with red tails, they are like, I don't know. They're constrictors. They're in the constrictor family. They're the type of snake that...
They're the type of snake that can grow to 15 fucking feet.
Not literally. They only get about...
What, like 12?
Not even, right?
No,
I'm gonna make this.
Remember, there's different types of boas.
I'm gonna get this wrong. So red tail.
No, I got this. Let me do it.
Columbia red tail boa size.
Motherfucker.
I'm quicker than you.
Not you. I don't know what you're looking for. What is the largest Colombian red-tailed boa in captivity?
I was right. I was gonna say it right.
7 to 10 feet. But females, that's only males. Females, it's common for female individuals to exceed 10 feet, particularly in captivity, where length of up to 12 or even 14 feet can be seen. Ha!
She's not wrong, guys. So what that basically entails, females are bigger than males. So basically, females can topple over males. Basically, females grow quicker and mature a whole lot quicker.
Well, there we go.
Yes.
12 to even 14 feet, and that's a Colombian red tail, which she is.
That's what I put it in. So that's what I wanted to make sure because I know.
Because sometimes it'll bring it to a Colombian, but not a red tail, because it'll miss the red tail. But then it'll miss the Colombian, so you have to go back. There's certain ways you gotta do it, because then it'll reroute it. It did it 3 times.
So basically, size in this matter does matter. Yeah. Sorry, I had to think for a second.
A report of a boa constrictor growing up to 18 and a half feet was later found to be. Oh, that's a green anaconda. That was a misidentified green anaconda, but I don't know what that was.
So, anyways, so size does matter, and the red tail will. Sorry for my wife freaking out over there.
Hey, Milo.
So basically, what is
I like snakes. Sorry.
She's obsessed with snakes. There's not a day that goes by that whenever I bring up a snake, she's like,
"Oh, let me see."
Unlike me, I'm all about the lizards.
I like them more dangerous.
Okay. Well, there's okay.
Hey, I want
to. We'll have this. We'll talk about this later. But anyways, so with red tails, size does matter. Size always will matter. Freaking fly! I'm gonna find this fly. I'm gonna murder it. So size matters in most parts with all good majority of reptiles, and Colombian red-tailed boas are one of them. So basically, what that happened, what's going on there is females can topple over males, and sometimes I believe there's been some instances and some news reports that boas will cannibalize just to get some extra protein. And so no, Ruby's gonna get twice the size as a normal male. Now, what we got to be careful of is Ruby over here could kill the male. Could. Sorry,
okay.
I just burped. It was a weird hiccup burp.
Oh.
So, what we got to be careful of sometimes, it very rarely happens, but it does happen. So what happens is when a female pairs up with a male, there could be a time where the female could accidentally squash or suffocate male, sorry. Because males only
the male are smaller than the females.
Yep.
The males usually but they only get like
2 feet longer.
10. The males only get to about 10 feet. The females get to about 12 feet.
That's with the proper care and setup and feed. Because eventually,
that's in captivity though. It could be bigger in the wild.
Like anacondas.
Yeah.
And people will fight me on this. People will state this. We don't know the true size of an anaconda.
Yeah.
Because
think about it. The only reason an anaconda would die, because if you think about it, there's not really any predators for that big of a snake. It's hard to take down a snake that size.
That size,
Think
yes. But from a baby, there is some predators with that. There's caimans.
Yes, but when it gets to an adult, think about it. At a certain reptiles never stop growing. Certain reptiles.
I was gonna say there is.
Certain species of
There is.
reptiles never stop growing. And there is belief the anaconda is one of them. Because
This is what I gotta say about snakes. Most snakes don't stop growing. Most snakes. Except for our colubrids. Well, except for a couple of colubrids. I've seen some pretty massive colubrids over my
a
time.
lot of them just grow to the size of their enclosure. If you get them a snake room, like if you give them a full room,
so a good
they could potentially get to the size they do in the wild.
good example of when she says snake room. If anyone here watches Chandler Wildlife,
Yes, Chandler. He has a king cobra.
he has a king cobra named Kevin.
Yep,
He
that is
got,
his baby.
I believe,
He's
I
had
wanna
Kevin
believe
since
it's
he
about-
started.
I want to say
About-
it's big enough. So
It's about the size, I think, of our living room.
just about. If you cut off from the kitchen, so basically from our kitchen back over here, except for this window, that's how big the space is. So
And that's about like a good 10, maybe 15 foot by maybe 7, 8 feet.
something like that, yeah.
Just about.
Just
Maybe
about.
a little more, a little less.
Because
Because it's enough to have live plants and everything going on in there to where it's like Kevin is in his own natural habitat. And it's amazing to see how cool that is.
So
I mean, I want to do that eventually for
this is the biggest question of all time. Gonna probably come up at some point. How do I do bioactive with Ruby? That's a challenge, actually, believe it or not. With the isopods, I do isopods with her. I would like to do springtails, but they're gonna get destroyed and crushed. But isopods have a better chance. And I want to see if I can actually find one. Wait, honey, do you want to grab me that container up there? Because I'll show you how big the container is, and there's like.
And she can curl up in this pretty nice.
Not that one. The tiny ones.
Tiny ones.
That's for the ice pods. So, in each one of these was a
Oh, they are already all fucking made.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't. Did you explode a little bit? I'm like,
So in each one of these, there is a 10 count in these. There's 10 in each. So there's 10, 30, no, 10, 20, 30. I have 30 isopods in there. And I might buy more. But these are Daily Cow isopods. They're from Josh's Frogs too. Highly doubt I'll ever get sponsored from Josh's Frogs, but hey, man can wish.
yeah.
So, but they're in there. I gotta fix her. I don't get why Ruby did this to me. I have to go get more spray foam for this and take her out for the night and then put her in tomorrow.
Not necessarily. You wouldn't have to get spray foam. Unless you're going to do spray foam and stick that back on.
Unless we have a adhesive glue and I can just.
Honey, you might want to get sandpaper to rough up the inside of the glass so then the spray foam sticks. Because if the glass is just smooth, it's not going to stick. It will fall off.
Well,
you need the glass to be rough enough for it to actually be grainy to hold. Otherwise,
what I
it's a
might
smooth
do
surface.
is I know I do have glue, but I gotta see if it's pet safe.
It's not.
It's not.
No.
Okay.
That's why I said you're gonna, believe it or not, just find that like sandpaper they would use for like, just like
Because I know I probably have some
like
here
jewelry?
somewhere.
Find like jewelry sandpaper. Like you can get it probably at Lowe's or something.
But no. So what Harley is talking about is basically, I gotta move.
So, with what happens is if you try to put spray foam on glass that you don't sand, it won't stick and it'll.
If you can see this right here,
it'll peel off like a sticker, basically.
That's my issue. I basically what I did is all over here though. I sandpapered the hell out of it.
That's why that side's sticking. The only reason that side's not sticking, he didn't sandpaper that side.
I didn't sandpaper that side.
Because that was last second. That was like literally a last minute decision. And he thought it would hold.
And of course, lo and behold, and I'm sorry for my neighbor keeping going back and forth. I'm just hoping he doesn't see me actually doing a video right now, so he doesn't shoot me a call or a text and saying like.
He's far enough.
So, anyways, basically what y'all want to do is when you do your bioactives, is you want to get
jewelry, sandpaper, jewelry like they use for like diamonds and stuff. Anything else, it will damage. But then there's a
type of spray foam you want to get that's actually pet friendly.
Yes.
And I had to make sure I got the right kind. Originally, I got the wrong kind. If you all kept up to date with it, that's what happened. But let me go to Lowe's. I don't have it. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as Christmas comes around, I'm gonna watch that movie. I've been hearing that all over the place, and it's driving me insane. Anyways. Now this is at Lowe's, or you can find this at Menards, and possibly what's the other place? Is that Harbor? No, that's Harbor. Yeah, Harbor Freight, but I've never seen it at Harbor Freight. Menards, Lowe's, and what's the other place? The big place, the orange place, the orange building. It's Lowe's, Harbor, Menards, and Home Depot. I couldn't think for a second.
Could try Ace too, because Ace is a hardware store. Any hardware store, they might have it. You just have to remember it needs to be pet safe and pet friendly. And I'm actually going to show you the can that I use. It can actually kill your reptile. Yep. If you're not careful. This is the can you want to use. It is spendy to buy because it's like $15 for each can. But it's worth it if it's for your reptile safety. So this is the can you want to get. That's what you want for your bioactive builds. Each bioactive build you want this can. It comes out black. Yes, but it actually comes out like how it is on my on Ruby's enclosure. We're only keeping it like that just because of the fact that lava background. Yeah. We do plan to give her a full room to herself. Yes. But that's when we have space, of course. And I forgot what I am doing on DoorDash. This one. Yep. Good. We haven't had dinner yet, so we're Plus, he owes me a date night. For all the couples out there, you'll know what we mean. For all the married couples, at least now. Hey. And that's another thing, guys. If you're not ready to get married, don't get married. Trust me. Trust me. Don't get married. Marriage is a very, very big thing. And if you are not only mentally but emotionally ready for it, it ultimately can damage your relationship. That's why you want to make sure you communicate about it and make sure you're both wanting to. Otherwise, yeah, what I'm doing, I should let you order first because I'm not gonna pay attention. What? I'm gonna let you order first. Is it weird? This feels weird.
So no. Basically, it's just coming down to overall cost I'm building, cost of getting the reptile, and that's actually, believe it or not, the most expensive part. Finding the reptile you want to get for a particular build.
Yes, because not every reptile can have the same kind of build.
Yep. So
because if you put a tropical one in a desert one,
not gonna really work.
Nope, because that can ultimately basically not only severely injure or ultimately kill your reptile if you are not doing the proper stuff.
For all my desert people, and I'm all about desert. I love doing builds for desert. Those are my most favorite ones that I love to do. So any of my desert dwelling critters I work with, like Stitch and any of my others, I will tell you this right now. Keep this in mind. Just understand that nothing is going to go to plan for your desert build. And don't do bioactive. I made the mistake several times already to do bioactive with Stitch. Stitch is also a Savannah monitor. Savannah monitors are a scavenger by nature, so doesn't really help my case. But with any snakes, with any other smaller species of reptile, or maybe some species of monitors, you might get away with it. But mostly with snakes, you could even do co-ops, and that's a big thing. That's what I'm actually been talking to Harley a lot about, is what kind of co-op she wants to do. And you can do a co-op with Colombian Redtails. Now, for all the people that don't know what I mean by co-ops, it's a collabable
animal that can live with your reptile.
Thank you.
Basically, an animal that your other reptile will not kill or try to eat.
Yep.
They can coexist and live together and have no problems living together. They can even colonize.
And that's what we're actually...
But you also want to be careful that they don't over-colonize, because those little ones can also take over the enclosure.
And that's what we do plan to do. We do plan to get a pair of a species. I don't know what we're doing yet. I know we're doing a gecko, or we might do an Anola species. I can actually show you one of them, which I have no issue with this, because it's like a newer species apparently, but I don't think it's a newer species. I've seen it in the market before. It's new to the market again, and I haven't seen it for a while. So it's cool that they're bringing it back, but the only downside is it, for anyone that actually is in the hobby that knows this pain, new to the market, the only way you can find them is wild caught. I despise wild caught for so many reasons. My red beaks, when I had them, they were live eaters. So they were eating live pinky mice. And for some reason, if someone can think so. And for what was I gonna say? You distracted me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what was it? I was talking about coabs. I was talking about so the species that are my red beaks, they're eating live pinky mice. So I don't understand why this was so hard. If someone could explain to me why it was so hard to find live pinky mice, that'd be great. Because I don't understand why it was so hard to find one live pinky mice. Like I don't understand this. I really don't. I'm sorry. Can I have my phone for like 2 seconds?
Maybe I don't know what it is if I can't see the pictures. That kind of stuff.
I can just take you to the Eastman website and we can look that way. Let me see my phone real quick. I'll show these guys what we're looking at before, because I don't know if I should do the species. I would like to, because because what Harley says about them, they're a colorful species.
It's the golden day gecko. So the gecko gecko.
Not that one. I'm talking about the
Uh-huh.
Noah species.
Oh, the no. Oh, I think that was like a green one, wasn't it? Like a green one.
It was like a here it is. So that's this one. And honestly, I would like to. It's just for a pair of them, they're like $300. So it's like I would like to. It's just I don't know. But co-op species would be nice just to help minimize the population of isopods. And you want to have enough room for them to also snack on them, but every now and then throw in like a dozen or so crickets. The big thing about it, though, when I did this build, is I made sure there was a hide box for geckos or the anoles, whatever species we plan to have. And that's actually crucial. You want to have a space where both species could either hide or thrive by themselves. And having a hide box is pretty crucial. And when you have a hide box, that's where all the freaky stuff could happen. That's where a lot of crazy things could happen, basically. You want to keep in mind that species that you put in there is going to be okay with the main species. And your main species is going to be your snake. So, but I usually go for another hour or so, guys. But I'm tired. I'm hungry. I will try to do another live here soon. But I hope to see you guys here soon. If you got any more requests, shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll link it down below. But just keep it going crazy, guys. And I do promise I will post more here soon. It's just I've been crazy busy trying to look into a new house, getting out of this place. Just overall, I'm just tired. So if you guys any support you guys send towards me, be great. If you can like, you can share. And you can just give me that kind of love. I do have a Patreon. I will link down below as well. But guys, if you can just help me out, it'd be a lot. It'd help me out a lot. And I just hope you guys have a great night, great day, wherever time you watch this. I will upload it. I'm just tired. I got a lot going on. And this actually really helps me out. So I do appreciate you guys taking the time watching the video. I know I didn't have anyone here today, but hey, if you guys watch this in the future, it'd be great. Appreciate it, guys. Talk to you later.